Now at 9, a new Oklahoma law set to toughen sentencing for accessory to murder, what it means for future cases.
Quapaw hosts an event to support families who are victims of murder. I'm Lonnie Walton in Quapaw. I'll have that story coming up.
A friendly Oval Office meeting with Canada turns into a back and forth about America's 51st state. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Kevin Stitt signs Laura and Ashley's law, strengthening sentencing requirements for certain crimes in the Sooner State. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Beginning November 1st, crimes of accessory to murder in the first degree and accessory to murder in the second degree will be added to the list of felony offenses requiring criminals to serve at least 85% of their sentence. The law is named after two girls, Laura Bible and Ashley Freeman, who went missing in December of 1999. Ashley's parents were found murdered in their burned home. Decades later, the cold case centered on 3 suspects, but 2 of them had already died. The third suspect, Ronnie Busick, eventually agreed to a plea deal in 2020, pleading guilty to accessory to murder, kidnapping, and arson. However, in 2023, Busick was released early from prison due to good behavior. Now, going forward, Laura and Ashley's law ensures those who aid in such heinous crimes face stricter consequences, something Laura's mother, Lorene, pushed for years.
It says Busick was let out. He was 17 miles from my house, walking around doing what he wanted to do. But I wasn't supposed to go bother him. He has rights. What about my daughter's rights? What about Ashley's rights?
Lorene Bible worked with State Representative Steve Bayshore to file the bill. She's been a part of the investigation since day one and still hopes to one day find the bodies of both her daughter and Ashley Freeman. Quapaw community members participate in a walk for victims who've lost loved ones to murder. This morning's event was called the Missing or Murdered Indigenous Person Support Walk. KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke to loved murdered family members.
Of murder. They say their family members may be gone, but their feelings for them aren't.
She's somewhere around Pitcher. She's in one of those mine shafts.
Maureen Bible lost her daughter nearly 25 years ago. She does believe she's dead, but she still can't find closure.
2012, they declared Ashley legally dead, or family dead. I said, until I find Laura's body, she's not.
And the pain goes on. Minnie Hawk says she lost 2 granddaughters to murder 7 years ago, one 16, one 17. But Hawk considers herself lucky.
Found them. We was able to bring them home, and the family was able to know and have closure. We were able to say our goodbyes and send them home the way we were taught.
Officer Charles Addison says this happens a lot in the Quapaw community. He says, but there's still hope for people like Bible.
Yeah, don't give up if you got someone missing. We do find people that's been missing for years. We do find them living, still alive, living somewhere across the country. And, unfortunately, sometimes we find people that's not alive.
Officer Addington says there's only one way to solve these problems.
If you have information, be sure and share that with the local law enforcement agency that's working that case, because that one piece of information that you might have may be the key to solving that case.
Both Hawk and Bible say there's only one thing that gets them through these hard times.
You got to have a lot of faith, believe in God that there's a reason for this.
Both victims I spoke to today said they're going to continue to fight for their loved ones even after they're gone. Reporting in Quapaw, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, the victims we spoke to say they are extremely humbled with the number of people who came out to support them. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, of course, we had some light scattered showers kind of worked through earlier this evening. Not too much going on out there right now. This is all ground clutter from the radar. But again, later on tonight, we'll start to get some scattered showers out there. You can see the big comma shape, our big area of low pressure. So big storms down across southern plains. But as we keep getting little lobes of energy around this area of low pressure head toward us, we'll start to see those rain chances kind of spiking up again, especially late tonight. And then once again, as we go into Wednesday afternoon, let's go through time. So kind of hit miss showers over the next several hours, light, but hit and miss showers into the morning hours. Here's 6 a.m. Let's go to about the noon hour. Scattered showers, maybe a rumble or two of thunder, and then we're going to see if we can get a few little thunderstorms try to get going as we get into tomorrow evening. So we're going to be talking more about all of this here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. A recent sentencing in southeast Kansas comes as drug overdose deaths are on the rise in the Sunflower State. Samantha Walker spoke to the mother of an overdose victim who says awareness is an important part of prevention.
According to the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, more than 700 people lost their lives to a drug overdose in 2022, with more than 67% of those deaths attributed to opioids such as fentanyl. This week, 2 people were sentenced for their roles distributing fentanyl, which resulted in the death of a Frontenac teen.
This is ending in the criminal part of this. I feel like another little piece of him is gone. You know, like this has not really kept him alive in my heart, but it's kept it real, and I don't want people to forget him.
Cooper Campiti was 18 years old when he died as a result of a fentanyl overdose in April 2023. Cooper's family continues sharing their story about the dangers of the opioid, speaking at schools and town halls across the 4 states.
And share Cooper's story, and a lot of the feedback that we hear is they had no idea about fentanyl and about how it gets into the drugs.
She says the prosecution of fentanyl cases like the one involving Cooper is important, but she adds awareness is what's needed to help prevent more tragedies like this in Crawford County.
What you're getting yourself into when you take something from the street that's not coming from a prescribed pill jar from a pharmacy and from your doctor. It can be in anything. Yeah, you never know. You never know. Cooper took half a pill.
Those struggling are encouraged to ask for help. You can seek help at the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration helpline by calling the number on your screen. Reporting in Crawford County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, Goodman city officials met tonight to consider a replacement for the open South Ward alderman seat, a position left unfilled after the April election. Voters picked Clay Sexton for the job, but he was also elected mayor and chose that position instead. At tonight's meeting, Sexton nominated an individual for the position, but the council chose not to select that person. So as it stands, the position of South Ward alderman is still unfilled. Well, some drivers on K7 south of Girard may be seeing some delays. KDOT started a new road improvement project on the stretch of road. The project, which includes a mill and overlay, is to repair damage to the road. And while KDOT says to expect delays of up to 15 minutes, the spokesperson asked drivers for patience.
So there's fewer roads to choose from when you're getting around, so be patient with us. We've got that passing lane project going on. 747, there's just an awful lot of work going on in southeast Kansas this time of the year.
The 25.6-mile resurfacing project began last month on K3 and K7 highways in Bourbon and Crawford counties. Work on K7 will run from south city limits of Girard south to US 400. Well, coming up, the eve before the conclave.
Cardinals hold their final meeting before the conclave begins to elect a new pope. I'm Rebecca Castor in Rome with a look at the final preparations coming up.
But up first in Health Watch, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We check out toys designed to support kids' emotional well-being and promote mental health. May marks Mental Health Awareness Month, and to celebrate, the Toy Insider's editor-in-chief, Marissa Silva, shares a hand-picked selection of toys aimed to help boost kids' emotional well-being and mental health while having fun. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
We all need some emotional support.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the Toy Insider has curated a selection of toys designed to support emotional wellness and make meaningful additions to everyday play.
When we're looking at mesh toys, we're really focused on toys that help improve kids' social emotional health.
Kids can manage their stress and anxiety with plush companions.
Warmies come in all different types of animals. These are weighted plush. So weighted plush can really help kids feel a sense of relaxation. They're also scented. They smell like lavender, and you can actually pop these in the microwave. You can warm them up and have a toasty, warm little friend.
Emotional support comes in many forms.
These are the emotional support bunnies. So you get 5 different bunnies. Each one has a little different expression on their face and this little bin to hold them in.
An iconic 90s purple dinosaur makes a return to playtime with a modern twist.
Barney's back. Barney was huge in the 90s, and this is the sensory Barney plush. So he has all different textures all over him that kids can really explore, especially for kids who really need a little bit of help with sensory exploration.
There are also friendship-focused toys.
I love this line. It's called Hey Bestie, and they all come in 2 packs. So the doll is never without their best friend, and this is really great for teaching kids how to be a good friend.
Tweens and teens can get in touch with their emotions with the Positivity Journaling Set.
You have everything that they love, right? Stickers, washi tape, tons of gel markers, but the real star of the show is the journal. So right away on the front, it says, "You're doing great." Kids get different prompts that they're encouraged to write down. Things like having mindful moments. These are really valuable lessons to teach kids at a young age so they can carry them through their whole life.
Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, teens with mental health issues experience social media differently than other young people. A study by the University of Cambridge found kids ages 11 to 19 with anxiety and depression not only spend more time on social media, they often compare themselves to others and experience changes in mood based on the amount of likes and comments they receive. Well, a study in JAMA finds while around 8% of people said they were depressed in 2013, the number in 2023 was higher than 12%. The biggest reasons are a worsening economy, increased social isolation, and healthcare disruptions that started during the COVID pandemic. Well, people who get vaccinated for shingles have a much lower risk of heart attack and stroke. A study in the European Heart Journal showed the shingles vaccine provides a 23% lower risk of cardiovascular disease that lasts for 8 years. Shingles is linked to a variety of heart problems. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later the Real ID deadline is just hours away. What you need to know if you haven't got yours yet.
Well, not a bad Tuesday for us today. Had some sunshine during the morning hours, clouds during the afternoon, had some scattered light showers, especially in our southern counties during the early evening hours. Most of those kind of fell apart as they worked off toward the north and to the east. We do have a couple isolated little showers popping up in southeastern Kansas. Besides that, this is all ground clutter over on the Missouri side, but I do think our rain's going to uptick a little bit as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Let's expand. Here's our cutoff low, meaning it's cut off from the main flow of the jet, so it's going to slowly head toward us over the next couple days. Classic comma-shaped storm system. Bigger storms down through Louisiana and parts of Mississippi, but we are going to get those scattered showers and thunderstorms increasing over the next couple days. Chances start to spike late this evening and then go back up again late in the day tomorrow. Let me walk you through time. Let's go to about 1 o'clock this morning. Scattered showers. We could see a couple rumbles of thunder. Not a big deal. Hit and miss showers lasting into the morning hours. We're going to stop at 6:30 in the morning. So a wet start on your Wednesday. As we go through the morning hours, scattered showers, rumble or two of thunder. Here's about the noon hour. And then let's go into the afternoon. Same story. Scattered showers, but a few thunderstorms trying to pop up as we get a little lobe of energy kind of rotate around this area of low pressure. Some of these thunderstorms could be a little bit loud, maybe a little bit stronger, most likely not severe, but something we'll watch. Here's 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms pushing through. And then we kind of fall back into scattered showers once again as we start Thursday. Much of the same on Thursday. A lot of clouds, hit and miss showers. Here's the noon hour on Thursday, and then as we go into Thursday afternoon, still some showers rotating through, and then finally getting out of here once we get into Friday morning as we drop back into the mid-50s for overnight lows. So how much rain could we get? A decent amount. I don't think it's enough to cause flash flooding because we're not going to have it in heavy segments, but a half an inch to an inch. Maybe some isolated heavier amounts in spots. Great shot. This is our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We are looking downtown Joplin. Temperatures right now, most of us low to mid 60s, so it feels pretty good. Day planner on your Wednesday, 58 to start, 62 by noon. High temp is 67, but again, we're going to be in and out of those showers throughout the day. So it's all caused by this cutoff low. Starts to weaken as we get into Friday, kind of drops back toward the Gulf Coast. Look at our jet stream, well to the north. Then this area of low pressure will kind of start to sneak back in as we head into the weekend. That could give us a few showers as we get into next Monday. All right, 67 on Wednesday. Let's go 67 Thursday and Friday. We do dry out. See a fantastic weekend. Some rain chances back in on Monday. And then 80s, mid 80s, moving in by the middle of next week.
So you think by Saturday it'll be dry enough to like do good mowing outside?
I mean, it's going to be wet still. It won't be standing water probably.
But nobody wants to. Do you know what Monday or Sunday is?
It's Mother's Day.
Very good. Very good. That was a test for you, Doug.
Okay.
You passed. All right, thanks. Coming up, the real deadline is here.
After years of delays, the Real ID Act will finally be enforced, at least partially, starting at 12 a.m. Wednesday. But what happens if you want to fly and you don't have a Real ID or a passport? I'm Nate Foy in Newark, New Jersey. I'll tell you, coming up.
Traveling nightmares continued at Newark's airport today after air traffic controllers temporarily lost contact with planes there last week. And now Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is calling for modernization of the entire U.S. air traffic control system. The Federal Aviation Administration says the delays are because of equipment outages, low staffing levels at an air traffic control center, and runway construction that's scheduled through next month. Well, many Americans are still scrambling to get their real IDs before tomorrow's deadline, or tonight's midnight deadline, rather. A welcome announcement from Homeland Security, however, could buy you some time if you're planning to fly soon. Nate Foy has more from Newark, New Jersey.
I do have a passport, so that'll get me by today.
Real ID deadline is here. Starting at 12 a.m. Wednesday, a valid passport or Real ID will be required to fly in the United States. Congress passed the Real ID Act in 2005 to enhance security, but delayed its enforcement for years.
But I don't know what the fuss is about. I've had mine on my driver's license for at least a year.
The TSA tells Fox 81% of travelers are already Real ID compliant, so they're not expecting additional delays as a result of the transition. Those without a Real ID or passport will still be able to travel on Wednesday, but will face an additional security screening.
They may be diverted to a different line, have an extra step, but people will be allowed to fly. We will make sure that it is as seamless as possible and that travelers will get to stay on their intended itinerary.
The TSA tells Fox it's utilizing additional staff and technology to ensure as little of an impact on travel as possible.
Even if you are Real ID compliant, there's going to be all those around you that are not. So bake that into your travel plans tomorrow.
Here at Newark International Airport, the transition to Real ID comes as the airport has been struggling with hundreds of delays and cancellations every day for the past week because of FAA staffing and equipment issues, as well as runway construction. In Newark, New Jersey, Nate Foy, Fox News.
The Internal Revenue Service has lost about a third of its auditors. A new report from a U.S. Treasury Department watchdog says around 3,600 auditors either took the Trump administration up on its deferred resignation program or were fired due to DOGE cuts. Experts say losing such a large number of auditors could impact the federal government's ability to collect tax revenue. Up next, find out how Joplin residents are helping shape the future of recycling in their community. The city of Joplin hosts a recycling education and outreach open house at the Joplin Public Library. They've invited residents to share feedback on obstacles to recycling, as well as ideas to improve community education.
We take cardboard, brown packing paper, they go together, papers, notebooks, phone books. We take e-waste, all your electronics, TVs, about anything with a cord we'll take. Paperboard, like your cereal boxes and things like that, and glass, which is 100% recyclable.
City officials say today's input will help shape a plan to boost recycling awareness across the region. The goal is to identify challenges and enhance outreach efforts for the future. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. President Trump and Canada's new prime minister clash over trade and statehood. See what sparked the tense exchange. And the next leader of the Catholic Church could be chosen soon. Cardinals prepare to vote as the conclave begins.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Things got a bit tense in the Oval Office today when Canada's newly minted Prime Minister paid President Trump a visit. Between the trade war and Trump's trolling of Canada to become the 51st state, there was a lot for the two to hash out. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively reports from Washington.
President Trump gave new Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney a warm welcome to the White House Tuesday, 2 months into a growing trade war. Things started off cordially enough in the Oval Office.
Regardless of anything, we're going to be friends with Canada.
But then,
Mr. President, you have said that Canada should become the 51st state.
You know, it takes two to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe it would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens.
It's not for sale, won't be for sale, ever.
But never say never. Never say never.
things got more strained as they were questioned on Trump's 25% tariff on Canadian imports and Canada's retaliation levies on bourbon, appliances, and sports equipment. Carney pointed to their shared manufacturing base, while Trump talked about America's $63 billion trade deficit with its neighbor to the north.
50% of a car that comes from Canada is American.
We want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada.
The president has imposed a 10% tariff on all imports and 145% on Chinese goods. He said the U.S. has the upper hand with all its trading partners.
They want a piece of our market. We don't want a piece of their market. We don't care about their market.
A reporter asked Trump if Carney could do anything to change his mind on tariffs, and he said, no, that's just the way it is. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Israeli forces are mobilizing for a new offensive in Gaza with plans to establish a long-term military presence and target Hamas. The operation is expected to be President Trump's upcoming visit, leaving a brief window for diplomacy. Meanwhile, Israel continues airstrikes in Yemen following a Houthi missiles attack on its main airport. Well, the College of Cardinals is getting ready for the start of its conclave to pick the next leader of the Catholic Church. And soon they will be cut off from the outside world until a decision is reached. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has more.
133 cardinals who will elect the new pope are all now in Rome and giving a look into their final discussions before the doors of the Sistine Chapel close. On the eve of the conclave, the cardinal electors held their final general meeting where they get to know each other and discuss the needs of the Catholic Church.
What will be the church in the years to come? What will be the world years to come? And what kind of leader in the church, what kind of pope they have to choose.
Today, they begin checking in to the Santa Marta residence where they hand over their cell phones as part of the security measures in place. After a mass on Wednesday, the conclave to elect Pope Francis's successor begins. The cardinals must decide whether to select a pontiff who will continue in the direction of Francis or choose a more traditional path for the church.
He was an egalitarian pope. He embraced all diversity and he was very forward-thinking.
One round of voting is expected Wednesday afternoon, and the process continues each morning and afternoon until a two-thirds majority is reached. Though one cardinal says the race to lead the Catholic Church is still wide open.
We don't choose a pope based on continent, based on race, based on language. We choose a pope that he truly can be the successor.
Vatican staff working for the conclave have been sworn to secrecy and threatened with excommunication if the oath is violated. In Rome, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later the Trump administration says it plans to reopen Alcatraz to contain the country's most violent criminals. Why the announcement is angering some tourists who are possibly seeing the historic prison for the last time.
Well, the morning started off pretty good for us today. We had partly sunny skies, temperatures fantastic. Clouds increased during the afternoon, showers across the region. As they worked through the region, they kind of fell apart, but we do have some very light showers starting to pop back up, and these will increase as we go through the next several hours, but really just kind of random sprinkles right now. But we're tracking our bigger storm system, cutoff low, sitting right out across the eastern parts of the Rockies. Look at the big comma shape, excuse me, in the clouds all the way back toward Houston, Texas. We got showers, we got thunderstorms down through Mississippi, but this low is just going to slowly meander its way toward us, giving us chances for showers and then even some thunderstorms as we go through the next couple days. So rain chances increase the next few hours, go down a little bit in the morning, back up late in the day on Wednesday. Let's go through time. Scattered showers, don't rule out a rumble or two of thunder. Not a big deal, but still scattered showers, couple little thunder showers into the morning hours. Here's 6:30 in the morning. Let's go through the morning hours. Scattered thunderstorms erupt late morning into the early afternoon, especially along north of I-44, which could produce some heavier amounts of rain. Once we get to about 4:35 p.m., a few thunderstorms start to rotate through. Again, I'm not expecting anything severe. And then we just kind of go back into this trend of periods of showers Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Showers won't be near as widespread on Thursday, but they're still going to be out there rotating through. And then it looks like most of them are going to move out of here by the time we head into Friday morning. How much rain could we get? Got to see where the heavier storms set up. So the heaviest right now looks to be along north of I-44. I would say most of us a half an inch to an inch, but there are going to be some isolated 1.5 inch amounts across the region. Looks good right now. Great shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We are looking downtown Joplin. Temperatures mainly into lower 60s outside. Day planner for you tomorrow, 58 start, 62 by noon, high temp of 67 degrees. And of course, that's our storm system that we are tracking in the upper levels. Let's go into the weekend. Notice it's still kind of sitting across the southern Gulf Coast. As we get into Sunday, it may retrograde just a hair back to the west, so we may get a random shower on Monday. Ridge of high pressure briefly, and then we get some stronger storm systems back in late next week, and that's going to help chances for more thunderstorms, especially late next week. Most of the weekend looks pretty good. Mid to upper 60s Saturday. We are going to have a lot of mid and upper level clouds back into near 70 by the time Sunday rolls around. 67s next few days, 70 Saturday, 73 on Sunday. But look at this, getting almost hot, mid 80s by the middle of next week.
Now what? Lots of chances to get your mowing done this weekend or middle of next week.
Well, with how much rain we've had, you pretty much got to mow every time it's dry.
You know, you're not wrong. You are not wrong for sure. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. It's called the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Still ahead, a Pittsburgh State baseball player is named MIAA Pitcher of the Year. Plus, the Gorilla and Lions softball teams both prepare for the NCAA tournament. Hear from them up next in sports.
Yesterday, Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State softball both hear their names get called for the NCAA tournament. And today, the Lions are getting some final practices in before making the trip down to Southern Arkansas for their regional.
We've worked hard for it all season to just keep going, playing as long as we can. I think it's just fun. This time of the year is fun just to be playing this late in the season.
Finally feel like the work just paid off. It was just a sigh of relief. We knew we were going to get there, but we couldn't wait just to see our name out there.
Camaraderie is top notch. It's a player-led team. They support one another, and they'll go balls to the wall out here on the field for each other, and that's what it takes. And they're all in for each other.
Of course, the Lions aren't our only local team participating in the 2025 NCAA tournament. Pittsburg State is the 5 seed and will play in the regional quad held at Central Oklahoma. Now, PSU has some experienced players who have been in this position before and know what it takes to win games in the postseason.
It takes grit, and you have to be really tough, and you have to be mentally tough, physically tough, battle tested, and I'm really excited because I think that we really are, and I think that this will be a lot of fun.
Our team bonding, the way that we gel has gotten so much better. We're super comfortable. These are my best friends, and I think they would say the same thing for everyone else on the team. And honestly, that's why we've gotten so much better, is because we just play for each other.
And the college baseball season is about a week behind softball, so Pitt State and Missouri Southern baseball, both of them are getting ready for the MIAA tournament, which is scheduled to start tomorrow. The Gorillas have put themselves in a position where a successful conference tournament run could lead to hosting an NCAA regional next week.
Yeah, this is kind of what you play for. You show up in August to have a chance to make it to the conference tournament, to make it to a regional and those things. But, it's exciting to have those opportunities. We've set ourselves up to have a chance. Different format. It'll be interesting to see how this goes, single elimination and everything. So you got to go out and play your best baseball 3 days in a row. If you do that, you got an opportunity to move on.
I mean, it's a pretty cool award, but I just think it's more important just as a team how we've been playing. I think we've had a really special year, and we just want to continue to make history here at Pittsburg State.
Next guy up, pitch the ball, throw strikes, and play our brand of baseball. So that's what we're looking forward to doing here in the postseason with the new season coming. Anybody can get hot at the right time and get going to carry, so that's what we're looking to do.
You heard Colby Dugan mention earning an award. That's because he gets named MIAA Pitcher of the Year this afternoon. In addition to being a first-team All-Conference honoree, he's joined on the list by his teammates, Maddox Thornton, Dagan Brewer, Alex Rogers, and Drew Bugner on the first team. Rogers is also on the Gold Glove team along with Ricky Sanchez and a couple of Missouri Southern Lions, Braden Lucart and Drew Townsend. Townsend from Missouri Southern, he's our only local honoree on the second team All-Conference. And then third team, 3 more Gorillas, Tanner Leslie, Ricky Sanchez, Hayden Dyer, 3 more from Southern too. Ethan Clark, Braden Lucart, Jacob Phillip. Conference tournament gets started with the first round tomorrow, and it'll take place in both Pittsburgh and Joplin through Saturday. That's it for sports. We're back right after this.
Since 1963, Alcatraz Island in California has been inoperable and now serves as a tourist attraction and historical landmark. It showcases where some of the most notorious criminals were once held. But as Ted Linder reports, all that could change following a new plan from the president.
A historic landmark in California, once known for being an unescapable island prison, could be returning to its roots.
Our country needs law and order.
President Trump proposed a plan over the weekend to reopen Alcatraz as a way to contain the country's most violent criminals. The prison, which hasn't been operational in more than 60 years because of its crumbling infrastructure and rising costs, was known for being nearly impossible to escape from. Now, Trump's administration says it's time to bring back the prison to isolate some criminals.
These guys must be in isolation. They're able to run their gangs out of our prison system. Think about that. That's why I'm all in favor of Alcatraz.
As details remain unclear on potential restorations and upgrades of Alcatraz, questions are rising on the potential costs to turn the island back from a tourist spot into an operational prison.
I think it's going to be very interesting. We'll see if we can bring it back in large form, add a lot.
Meanwhile, tourists continue to flock to the historic island, as some fear it may be the last time they can see Alcatraz in its original form.
I wanted to take the chance to get out and see some of the history from its early days before they reconstruct it, if it happens.
Others say the cost to rebuild Alcatraz to be functioning for prisoners again is not worth it.
I think it's a waste of money, way too expensive. Hopefully it's just all talk and not serious.
Along with potential costs, the president could also face other challenges to make changes to a historic location.
It has landmark status, so there would be an avalanche of lawsuits that would probably tie it up for years.
Ted Linder, Fox News.
Benson Boone announces his American Heart Tour. Plus, Prime Video releases a first look at Motorheads. That and more coming up in Hollywood Nation. A back-flipping pop singer is coming to an arena near you, and a country superstar will be honored with a prestigious award. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has those stories and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
I probably don't have the answers anyway.
Philippi shifts into high gear, Boone plans a road trip, and Urban scores a prestigious award in the Hollywood Nation. Keith Urban hits a high note with a country music milestone. He will receive the coveted ACM Triple Crown Award at the 60th Academy of Country Music Awards. The honor celebrates his wins in 3 major categories: New Artist, Male Artist, and Entertainer of the Year. Chris Stapleton, Megan Maroney, and Brothers Osborne will pay tribute by performing some of Urban's biggest hits. Reba McEntire hosts the annual ceremony, streaming live on Prime Video from Frisco, Texas, May 8th.
I'm sorry I'm here for someone else.
Benson Boone has big plans for summer and fall. The pop singer will take over arenas across North America on his American Heart Tour. He will perform songs from his upcoming album of the same name, dropping June 20th. It all kicks off August 22nd in St. Paul, Minnesota.
New guy?
Yeah.
Welcome to Ironwood.
In today's First Looks, Prime Video revs things up with the trailer for Motorhead, starring Ryan Phillippe. The young adult action drama follows a group of teen outsiders who bond over their love for street racing while navigating the highs and lows of high school life. The show premieres May 20th.
I think something's happening to us.
Allison Brie and Dave Franco star in the horror film Together. The real-life married couple play a duo whose move to the countryside becomes a nightmare when a mysterious dark force threatens both their relationship and survival. It arrives in theaters July 30th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of meerkats and monkeys digging through the leaves at the Melbourne Zoo in Australia. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.